So this is what we have, folks. We're dealing with people who come into Lowe's. They have a box of screws. They say, I really want this, but not as many. They find him half as much screws. He said, man, that's perfect. I don't like it when it's so full. Matter of fact, give me 2 boxes of those half screws, which equals the big box he had all along. Now, what does that tell you about Americans? Well, maybe it doesn't tell us anything. Maybe it just tells us that every country, every place, every civilization have people that aren't thinking things through well. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe it means that some people aren't deep, some people aren't logical, some people aren't really trying to take care of the details of life. And it does matter. Now, of course, this is a silly situation. I never was told this story until just a second, so it allowed me to experience it with you. But it does tell me something that I think is probably pretty perfectly analogous to a clip that I wanted to show you guys today that I had come across. I believe it was on CBS Morning. Now, it's CBS, and as we all know, and most people that watch my podcast are conservatives and or Christians and or patriots and or First Amendment and or Second Amendment and or libertarians and or free thinkers and or logical people and or somewhat intellectual. So we all know that ABC, NBC, and CBS have long gone jumped the shark when it came to true, honest reporting, anything that we could hope to be articulate and give real details and data so we can judge it as humans and try to make good decisions as a constitutional republic, people that rule. So we need to be able to get information so we can all come together and have access to the same data so we can all try to make the best decision. We would hope that would be the case. It's not anymore, clearly. We all know that. CNN has completely tanked. There's nothing left of it. They even had to fire everybody. They got a new guy who apparently is admitted just recently that the far left has destroyed their brand and they need to try to find something that will get them a little bit back to actual news. Don't hold your breath. But they've admitted it. They've proven that woke is a joke and it will never pay off. Not to the Americans that live who care about truth and reality. But it matters to me to remind you, because I always told you guys that when I did the podcast, I wanted to have fun with it, and I hope that we can joke, because I'm a comedian, and I hope that we could talk about values and conservatism, because I care about that. I hope we can talk about America and its original intent of the Constitution, because that matters. That is the foundation of this nation. Hope we can talk about Christianity, because it is the truth. It is the only religious system in human history that is backed by an even older belief system known as Judaism, which actually went to as far as to name the names of every single human being that had another son, who had another son, to make the genealogy actually technically reliable. Unlike Thor and Zeus and all these mythological characters, these were real guys that actually existed, and they wrote them down. So you could actually watch the progression of what would happen of this group of people when their Messiah, their prophet, would come and prove that God actually was here. So this is an amazing belief system, and it's the truth. That's why I speak of it as such. And so it's not about trying to get you to believe one thing or other. I think if you watch it long enough and pay attention long enough, you'll come to the conclusion a miracle really did happen once in the world. And we can find out how to see the world through the way God has written it down. That's how I see things. And if you're interested in what I do, you're going to hear a lot about that. But one of the things I did tell you guys that I thought was important was not just sitting here saying, aren't leftists idiots and aren't conservatives great? Isn't America great and isn't everybody else suck? I didn't want to be that guy. There's plenty of podcasts that do. They just choose a side and everybody jumps on so they can tell how great they are and how bad everybody else is. But number one, because I believe Christianity is true, I'm not allowed that permission to go and mock other people that disagree with me. But more importantly, I want to weigh out the evidence and try to find actual truth and actual answers about things that we're actually observing. That's all that matters to me. And so in order to do that, I said I was hoping that I could also leave you guys with some techniques, some tools, some formulas that I've used and other people have used that I've learned from, that you can learn to apply to your life in your day-to-day, so you can evaluate things truly, objectively, and try to find truth, and maybe convince some people to follow you into the world of reality, which is what we need now, because the left has gone completely outside the realm of reality completely. They're taken as far as we will allow them. And as long as we allow men to call themselves women and women to call themselves men, as long as we allow that and indulge that and don't hold them account, they're going to go further until men are cows and women are snakes, and they'll go further. And then and why wouldn't they? Nothing shows control over making you deny reality and live in fantasy. If you do that, you are about as much a slave as you can possibly be. You have literally abandoned not only reality, not only logic and reason, but just common sense and dignity.